Hello, welcome back to today's episode. It is the 6th of January 2022, and it's another recording the remarkable episode because it is near the end of the day. So I'll just start. I think the most memorable things about today would be the plunge in the water, yes, timoshee, actually a bit of Michael, and also a bit of Josh, maybe. 18 and lost, so were we, and one more person, I think. Who was it? Clarence. Alrighties, let's get started. So I woke up at around 8, I think, 8:30, who knows, and slowly got my way into the groove of things. I knew that 妈妈跟 Jean 早就走了，爸爸早就妈妈不是特别早，但是我大概起来的时候yes, the aircon people came, and that was just cool stuff. I went to Mom's room for an hour, wanted to do the daily things, but didn't. At that point, wanted to do Navarre stuff. I brought some stuff with me. I didn't do any of it. I don't think I actually accomplished many of the things that I wished to do, but I'll get back to that in a second. So things I wanted to do was like get cards done, get Navarre stuff done, completely clean and pack up. And I realized that tomorrow we're not leaving at a certain time. We're leaving at like 3, so I've got time. But still, what else? Read Chinese. Yeah, so that's kind of it. I think I showered, didn't wash my hair because I just had to shower, and I don't think I ate. No, I don't think I ate. I was just fluffing around for an hour till the aircon people went, and then I was like, you know what? I want to go for a walk. I think I must have been talking to people online for a bit, and eventually decided to go for a walk, listening to music, jamming, having so much fun, right? I went onto the dock or wharf or whatever you want to call it, or deck, and the wind was blowing strong, and I could see it was blowing strong, so I brought down a jacket with me, and I was listening to music, really nice. I think it was Outro Wings by BTS, and right before it was definitely a boppy song that I do not remember now. I basically just had to take off my jacket and leave it on the deck, and I remember thinking that, oh, the wind is so strong today, but there's no way it's going to blow a jacket away. As I get a text about, so I'll actually translate this into Chinese. So 我拿一个信息我不认识你的电话号码，但是后来我发现你的电话号码是真的。Es war die Polizei und leider ist ein Mann schwierig zu finden und er ist sehr alt und auch vielleicht verwundbar. Ich weiß nicht. What was the word again? Yeah, I feel like just 就是比较老，然后比较大年纪，然后可能有什么就是脑袋可能就是有什么问题，所以比较难找。然后他家人很担心，所以 obviously when I looked at that, I was like, well, I've got to check out the pictures, check out the details. And as I was doing that, I was on my phone. I just saw in my peripheral vision the jacket fly away, and it was like the wind had picked it up and just hurled it into the water, and I was like, oh my gosh. And so I'm still at shock looking at my phone because of that news, and then I look at my jacket and I'm like, oh my god. And so I, by the way, I'm in like a full-length skirt, very full-length skirt, t-shirt, and I'm just like, oh. I just running scenarios in my head. I was like, either I plunge in water now and get it, and by the way, as I'm thinking, the wind is pulling it away, the waves are pulling it away, it is like swimming away from me. Or I let it be and I just go pick it up when it gets to the coast. Only then, unfortunately, it's not a sandbank, it's a muddy bank. So if I get there, it will be muddy. Not to mention, it's low tide. So I would probably be ankles deep or knees deep in mud by trying to get to that point, wherever it drifts off to. So I was like, I better jump in water now. But I'm like, I have clothes on, not swimmers. What do I do? I'm like, doesn't really matter. Just get in. I get in. Next time, I'd probably take the skirt off. But, I jumped in, and immediately when I did that, everything felt so much heavier because the skirt that I'm wearing is a long skirt, like you can feel that it's long. I remember jumping in. I jumped in awkwardly, and that was like an arch kind of back way, like a weird diving way, honestly. I don't know how else to describe it. All I know is how I did it. It was like a crescent moon shape and backwards, which is why it was like gymnastics. And I was like, why'd you do that? So I swim to it, and I get it, and then I pull it, and I realize it is low tide. The deck is higher than normal. And so it's a lot more effort to drag up onto, the swimming books when you swim. And I used to, as a kid, struggle to lift up. So I would just like go to the side and then go onto the top. And then I eventually got the hang of it. Well, the deck was so much higher. And I was like, how the heck am I going to do this? So I struggled on the first 2 tries, couldn't get up. And I was like, well, if you keep on struggling, you're going to get more tired and you're going to stay in the water for longer. And it wouldn't have been a big deal. I would just have made it to the coast where it is sandy and just cruise there. But I was like, I don't want to do that. So I get on the 3rd try, and because I'm just completely soaking wet because I did not expect to even swim, I was just coming down here to enjoy the fresh air and nature and wind and dance and music. I laugh because it was so absurd. I laugh because I just didn't expect to get wet at all, and I was just completely soaked. And usually when I recount the story, I recounted it I think 3 times today, and I had such high energy. To be honest, firstly, when you repeat a story multiple times, it kind of loses its wear, and you can't really express enthusiasm. Also, right now it is the end of the day, so I would have delivered that story with a lot more enthusiasm, but it is end of the day. I hope you can forgive me for that. But it was just funny. It was so funny. As soon as I got out of the water, I voice messaged the first person who came to mind because I was like, this guy enjoys nature. So I told Josh. He was at work, so he didn't see it until way later, and just absolutely laughed. He was like, that is the most ridiculous, funny thing. I love it. And I also filmed videos of me just plopping the jacket onto the deck because it just sounded so wet, and it was so wet. I was so soaked, of course. That was really funny, honestly. Yeah, and it just made me think. I was like, if that jacket was a child, I hope that I would have no hesitation to just jump in, because this hesitation, it wasn't too long, but in the moment I was like, this is taking way too long. I'm running through way too many scenarios in my head. If this was a child, I don't have time for that. Or an animal or something that's vulnerable, like you don't have time for that. You just go in and you do it. Yeah, so that was done. Went back home, showered again because I did not expect it. All the clothes washed, dried. Hopefully, should be packed by tomorrow and whatnot. And then after that, I think the day just was drifting in and out. A lot of procrastination, if I'm honest. I just did not want to do stuff. I did not want to do things for so long. I did the daily thing, could have done it earlier, but I just couldn't bring myself. I didn't have the energy to do it, which is not common. But I think you can't always have the same energy all the time. Nothing is consistent. You can't expect that of yourself and others. And I think it's wrong to think that, it's fine to say that people have changed, but it's wrong to think that they can't change, that they're not allowed to change. And if they change, well, they've changed for a reason, whether it be external influences or internal reasons. And I think it can be a struggle because, like Marvin says, an age and a loss are we. People are used to the flavor that you were. They want that flavor back. But you don't owe it to them. You don't owe that to them at all. So, anyways, that's a little tangent life thing. I think it's just sometimes there will always be friction in life, and it's hard to navigate. Is it worth navigating? Yes, but sometimes you know when it's not worth your energy, and so you leave it. There's always that bit of tension. There's always that's going to exist. So you just got to deal with it somehow, right? I think life, there's so many simple and difficult parts. You can simplify it, you can make it complex, whatever it is. That's just how we are. So yeah, that's one thing. I talked with Timoshee today for a decent amount. I think the most memorable thing was funny way where both our conversations, it did toward to how shadow dry the city. It's just funny. I don't know how. Definitely if I went back to the conversation, I'd be laughing as well. I cackled a few times for sure. I ruffle Lamau to a few times. He says Lamau. He says LMAO is too many syllables. Yeah, I think I asked him a question which was because of the personality testing. It's funny, he relates 75% to me. No. What's the intelligent one a logician, or relates more to a mediator. But I can see both in him, even though I don't know him that well. And so, yeah, he came back from the swimming competition. I don't know how he went. I don't really care either. But I'm just glad that he does it. I'm just glad that he does whatever he does, honestly. I'm glad he chose physio. Not that I know him that well, but I'm just glad that he was able to do that stuff. Yeah, I don't even know, and it's funny because I learned the phrase from him. I really thought that like it's not weird if you don't make it weird, then I don't find it weird, right? I apply that, but he both times today when the conversation was like, wow, weird times. I didn't mention it, and he like brought it up each time that it was weird. I was like, bro, you literally told me that piece of advice. Stick by it. It was kind of funny though. I have no idea what he sounded like on his end if he was cackling at all. That's why it's funny. He really didn't came into the voice messages until way after, and it was so funny. It was when I asked him the question of, he said that he was really introspective and not introspective. He's very self-aware, but he doesn't care. And I was like, that's interesting. So tell me your worst quality and then your best quality. And he was like, worst, and then he just had that sweat, funny emoji of Key and Peele. That was so funny. Jordan Peele, just sweating buckets like under an intense stare. That was so funny. His gift game is pretty good. It reminds me of Nathan. Nathan's is better though. I don't know. It's hard to say. Nah, they're both pretty good. Nathan does it more often though. Firstly, I was surprised by his voice and that I forgot that his voice was so neutral in that it has, a bit of an Aussie one, but it's so neutral. It's just so clear. It's literally like it's the most water-like voice I know or have heard. It's so clear and very neutral. That's why I was so surprised. I don't know. I was like, wow, I was blown away. Because I've heard it before, but I just forgot. I just forgot what it sounded like. Also, I didn't hear it too often. Anyways, that was interesting. Yeah, 所以他就说他妈妈的事情 and that was really interesting because I was like, character analysis, family dynamics, always something interesting. And then once he offloaded that, he was like, yeah, what about you? I'm all ears. Like, we'll listen for drama. And I was like, you know what? My stuff is either way, way, way too deep or just way too surface level and petty. I just couldn't think of anything. I was like, you know what? That's enough chat for today. Let's leave it there. I was like, yeah, fair. Get back to anime then. And I just left off back to my stuff, which wasn't much at all to begin with, let's be honest. There could have been stuff done, but I'm just too tired. Well, not too tired, too lazy, honestly. Ehrlich gesagt, faulenzen. Ja, ich habe keine, what's the word? I'm going to search it up. I can't believe I've forgotten it. Es gibt keine... Ja, es gibt keine Ausreden. Ja, Ausreden. Mejeko. But that's how it is today. I mean, to be totally honest, I'm proud that I still did the daily thing. I'm proud that I got myself out to do this because I was already really tired. Like, my eyes are feeling dry. You can hear it in my voice. I think I listened to the business episode by Byron, even though I was like 3/4 of the way through it before. I just listened to it again, and I kind of messaged the guy and commented on one of his posts on LinkedIn. Very interesting. He just advertised more stuff, honestly, and I was kind of disappointed. Slightly disappointed, if I'm honest. Cool takeaway was like, he's like, you can just work for someone for free who's probably old, 60, about to retire, 50, about to retire, and his own business has built it well, and you can take over eventually. I forgot what he called it. Like, something acquisition, something inheritance, something work inheritance, labor. No, something inheritance in that, like the work inheritance, which is very interesting. That's a cool concept. I never thought about that before. I was like, that's sick. But it's hard because businesses that stick around, they have to have good foundation. They have to have a never-ending well of wanting to always improve. Else, if you get content, you'll be overtaken. So it's competitive as. I really thought about Esmond, and I was like, wow, the guy's been through a lot, I imagine, and not to mention his, double degree, his life. I don't know how the guy manages it. It's crazy to me. I don't know. I just think people are so impressive, and everyone's impressive. I would say, not to my own horn, but I am impressive too. But I do have days like this where I feel like it was a completely. I think the term is no bones day in America or something. I think for me the words I would use was faulenzen, was noch. 就很懒，真的是很懒. My mom said that too today, and I was like, you know what, you're not wrong. But I just can't tell her, like, why. I can't even tell myself why. And it's not burnout. It's not anything like that. It's just can't bring myself to do it. Like I could, if I was forced to, I could. I just don't want to force myself. That mental resilience, I just don't quite have it. I did do some stuff. I did end up packing a bit of clothes. Didn't clean up the desk or anything like that. Didn't do mahjong. Didn't do any of that. 今天西餐了就放很感谢 and I'm glad that I don't have that jealousy or comparative streak in me. Because if I did, that would make things way harder, but I'm glad I don't. Things with Jen, I think. Well, I'm really hoping I can move out in February or something annoying. I think a little kerfuffle happened today when this alien from module 取消了吃饭. And we're both on the same page, but it makes sense why parents feel that way, even if it's completely illogical in our eyes. And that sparked interesting things. I just thought you can do your hardest to try convey your point to others, but at the end of the day, you lead by example. You lead by your own values. You live by them. You act by them. And even if that causes friction, that's how it is. Like, I don't think I can compromise on staying true to myself sometimes. And as selfish as that may sound, I just don't think it's worth it. I think it's better upfront. I think Pace had a really good quote from Gary Vee about parents. Gary Vee parent relationship quote. Where is it? Not at all that. Future. Oh, what? Oh my gosh, I've got no idea. Not Gary Vee then. Sacrifice. Sacrifice parent. Or future. Something like you can sacrifice your relationship with your parents now or have a better relationship in the future. And I can't find a quote for the life of me. But it was a very interesting perspective because he's had a very different life, obviously, different reasons, different pathway. And I think for me, it's just things are inevitable in the sense of it's not just parents, it's like friends as well. Like right now, I'm thinking with Jen, is it going to work out? Because she's busy, I'm going to be busy, Alex going to be busy. And this isn't really quite where I thought the responsibility would lie or communication methods would lie. In that if she actually genuinely hasn't received the message, that's fine. Like, I can't help that. But that's just awkward as could be. Seriously. Yeah, anyways, it's no biggie. I have backup plans. I think Dad just projects a lot of stuff without understanding context. Like with alien stuff, he just made all these assumptions before he even heard the story. I was like, no, you can't do that. And then with Nadia, Kush, Liv, staying over at theirs, he was like, you can't do that. I was like, you don't even know the story. And I have my own values. I have my own morals. I have conducts of behavior that I apply myself to and adhere to those standards. And, you have definitely shaped me in that way. So whatever you believe, I'm more likely to believe because you believe in it. You don't think I've thought this through? You don't think I think about that stuff? You don't think I'm considerate? It's not like offense. It's just like, do you not know your own child? If that makes sense. Yeah. And what else? Just today, you can hear in my voice, I'm just tired and all these kind of things. So that's how life is for now. Tomorrow should be good. Today, we'll see how it goes. And yeah, I think that is kind of my recap of the day. I think the most exciting bit was talking in greater depth with timoshee and just, what do you call it? Being able to have that spontaneous moment in the beginning where I just jumped into the water. It just felt so weird, felt so surreal. And then else from the day was like very subpar. Michael was nice. Who was it? Clarence, can't wait to meet. And that's kind of it. That's literally it. Okay, so sorting out stuff, gave advice on glebe markets for Aileen and Kush, and hopefully they have a really bomb time with really good clothes. But yeah, that's all for me today. I hope you had a fantastic day, and I shall see you next time. Bye bye.